things for the web because it's tested, and actually when you start as a developer for Yahoo, you get a training on YUI, and you realize like, hey, my life is so much easier. I don't have to worry about all this stuff. My favorite case there is the builder for layouts. I don't know why. I've been using CSS for years and years, and I don't think it's complex, but it's also really annoying. So instead of having to write an own layout that works across the browsers in CSS again, I can actually click that away, what I've just done, which is not good. And I can just say, like, okay, I want to have a page that's 700, let's say 950 pixels wide. I want to have a column on the side that is 300 pixels, and actually I don't want it on the left, I want it on the right. I then want to have a one column row, and I want to have another one that actually gives me two columns with 66 and 33, which shows now here. And I can have another column here where I want to have 4 of them. And then I just basically say show code. I copy and paste my HTML code, and I can start with my layout. I put my colors in, I make it pretty, and I'm done. And this works across all the browsers that we support. And that makes my life so much easier because I don't have to know about the CSS anymore. I just go where all these your data goes here points, and just replace them with my information. And this is how I built the keyword finder, this is how I built that Boohoo thing. All the demos that I showed actually were built starting with this thing, because I didn't want to have the problem with CSS anymore. The builder itself here is written with YUI itself, so this all drop down and these menus here working for you are actually written in there. And my favorite example on the YUI page is that we rebuilt the Yahoo mail interface with YUI to actually get you started with it. So YUI 2 examples. Let's do the layout manager, I think is where we find it. So you see here 214 different demos that you can go through. Complex application. So this now is the interface of Yahoo Mail, written only in YUI by using these free widgets that are properly documented and working for you. And it would be very, very ironic if that didn't work right now. And it doesn't. Great. So what's going on there? Oh, there you go. So we had to put that alert box on there because people went to this page and tried to read their email and were complaining that their email can't be found because it looks exactly the same. So you have your tabs here on the home page, you got your trash menus, you got your search bar is your search bar finding things and like showing you that something is happening. You've got delete, reply, forward, spam. You can go through your mails. It's all keyboard enabled as well. And you can even have the editor if you want to write an own message. And that one is a fully fledged editor going for all the things that you want to do. So I can start typing there, and I can then highlight some parts, make it bold. I can put a link in there somewhere here, and so on and so forth. So this is Yahoo Mail rebuilt with these free widgets that you can use yourself. And I think that's a rather interesting thing in terms of what you can achieve. You can also style all of this, so none of this is actually hard-coded in terms of colors and fonts and everything. So you can write a CSS file to make it look completely different. And it has skinnable demos of the different widgets. So for example, if I go to the window menu, I think has some good examples for that. So, examples. There you go. And this one now makes a pop-up look like either a Windows box or a Mac box. And that's all HTML and CSS. And you can style that yourself if you want to. And it works with all the things that I showed before as well. So YUI 2 is basically this thing. This is what we're building Yahoo right now on. YUI 3 is where we take things further and actually make it much faster, much simpler. We needed to write YUI 3 because YUI 2 was not fast enough for the new Yahoo homepage, and YUI 3 is the one where we go completely to town with building systems. So YUI 3 is also completely open. It's Creative Commons. It's a PST license on GitHub. You can write your own extensions that become part of YUI 3. With YUI 2, we did not allow extensions from the outside because we have to scale it to the size of Yahoo. But with YUI 3, you can actually try things out, and it is much smaller. It's much bigger in terms of what you can cut it up into, and you can load all the things on demand in YUI, which instead of just loading it one by one. And one thing that I built with YUI 3 when it came out as a demo is this Flickr collector, which actually shows also the YQL information that we showed before, the Flickr searching. Because I always found I use a lot of Flickr photos, but I don't want to actually go through Flickr and find the HTML code to copy and paste it back into a blog post. So what I can do is here I can click on these photos, and it actually gives me the HTML code for copying and pasting the image immediately, and it also gives me the license of it, and I can preview the photo and all kind of things here. And if I want to have more than one photo, I can just start dragging and collecting them here. And then I say, see all the code, and it actually gives me the HTML code for all of these. I can also remove photos that I don't want to have, and I can look for other things. I can look for Jordan here again. Which is interesting. So I've got the Jordan photos here. I can put that one in my collection, and so on and so forth. And the code of that thing is actually immensely small. So the JavaScript that I needed to do for that whole interface is actually this. So I just needed to write a bit of PHP, a bit of YQL. Again, this is on GitHub for you to look at, for you to fork, for you to play with. And I think we're out of time, aren't we? 30 minutes. Blimey. Okay. So that's YUI for you. And YUI 3 has this wonderful gallery, which I said before that in YUI you can write your own extensions. You can do your own things. So on YUIlibrary.com is a gallery where people write their own extensions to YUI. So for example, you have an accordion menu, which is not part of the normal one. So you can actually see this in action. Here, the example. Then you can see how an accordion loads things and closes and opens for you. So this is what somebody else has built that works on iPad, that works on an iPhone, and he put it actually into the gallery, and we have it in there. And this is all the code that you need to have to put that thing into your page. You have popular ones, you have featured ones, so if you want to write something with YUI and actually get Yahoo to sponsor you to show it off to the world, you have that here. So you've got a time picker widget, you've got a node accordion, YQL query to use YQL inside YUI 3 simply, JSONP history light, a Konami event, an HTML5 player, which actually takes an HTML5 video tag and plays it in there. So let's try that out. I'm probably going to be slow here. Ah, wonderful. Good, that was good demo. Let's try the home page. Probably got too much traffic, that's why I shut it down. Yeah, that's the case. So everything you need to know about developing with YUI, the documentation, as you saw, is very, very intensive, but you probably don't want to go through that. There's also a wonderful YUIblog.com, which gives you all the information about YUI as news, as videos, shows you how people build something with YUI, and we show them off. So if you use YUI in your products and you email us about it, we're going to feature you, and that's pretty cool to be on a Yahoo blog with your own company. And we just had the YUI conference, which the t-shirt that Murray is wearing right now, which had lots and lots of speakers talking about YUI specific and non-YUI specific JavaScript topics and CSS topics. And all of these videos are being released right now, one after the other. So that's Nate Turkey talking about how touch interfaces work on the web. The videos are available. There's Tantek Chalik talking about HTML5, another touch interface things. Porting Flickr to YUI 3, how actually Flickr, the new interface, was written with YUI 3. A panel discussion, and all these videos are available for you. Let's see what else we have in there. Little things as well, like little tricks that we found, like for example how we build these little arrows here without using an image, by just using CSS borders and CSS tricks, and this is explained step by step here. In the wild, it's like which companies use YUI. So this one, the real estate in Australia, for example, uses YUI right now. When people talk about it, so you don't even need to hunt the web for information, we do that for you. Storing snippets of data on your page with YUI 3, Scrabble games built with YUI 2, all kind of information that is collected for you. If you've done something cool with YUI and you want to be featured on that blog or on the YDN blog, please tell us about it as well, because we can actually put your information there and feature you as a, hey, we had a developer here who built some really cool stuff with us. And yeah, it's like there's tricky stuff like inline boxes, how to do a proper calendar control, how to do all kind of information in there. The other thing that YUI comes with, YUI 3 especially, comes with a component how to do test-driven development. So if you are an enterprise coder that comes from Java world or comes from Microsoft .NET world, and you want to write test-driven JavaScript, we actually have an interface for that actually allows you to write your tests and write code that actually works with that. YUI 3 itself is written as with a testing development approach. So everything we write already works because we know we wrote the tests for it. And we write each other's tests to actually make sure that we do things that actually work and actually mean something. Because when you do your own test-driven development, a lot of times you write tests so they actually work so you can submit the code and get your money. But that's not the idea of test-driven development. You're supposed to write things that break your code. And that's why YUI 3 team is doing some really good stuff with that. There's also a product called Yeti, which is a server-side framework for testing. So it actually does rendering of browsers for you, like Selenium does, on the server side. So instead of having to pop out 5 different browsers, you can test that with one script and automatically tells you if it worked or not. And if you wonder about the code quality of YUI 3 itself, what really amazes me about YUI 3 is that it's self-contained. So you cannot use jQuery twice in a page to actually in 2 different parts without it overwriting each other. YUI 3 is completely modular, so you can use different parts of YUI 3 in different instances on the page. And that's something that we had to do with the Yahoo homepage because we used lots of widgets in there. And what's really interesting with this is if you get really nuts on what you can do on the web right now, you can build something like that. So this is YUI Express running on Node.js. Node.js is server-side JavaScript. Is based on the Google JavaScript engine, and what that one allows you to do is write pages that work really for everybody. Because I've got here, for example, a calendar that actually loads right now, and if I click it, it actually does it on the client side, so it actually is like any other system out there. The tab view here as well. This one is a list, and if I click on these different tabs, they actually switch around. So this is how we do JavaScript. What if JavaScript is not there? Then either these tabs are broken, or they fall back to a bigger interface. Well, in this case, as YUI 3 is actually self-contained, I can reload this page without JavaScript, and I can click on these things, and they still work the same way with a reload. So I'm using the YUI widgets in JavaScript on the server or on the client. I'm using the same widget, so I don't have to change any code if I want to have different functionality. I'm using it on the server and the client.